Shalom and welcome to a show on Hasten the Day. My name is Elder Rhymelab, and today the topic that we're gonna take on today is the Apocrypha and why it was removed. All right. What happens is that the so-called white man, who's the devil that the Bible speaks of, what they've done is they've taken the Apocrypha out of the Bible because of the fact that there's many things in the Apocrypha that expose who this devil is today, and there are many different what's the word I'm looking for? Many different information and wisdom in the Apocrypha that pretty much shows that the so-called white man not only is he the devil, but also shows that who Israel is. And there's a lot of revelations that came through the Apocrypha. So the bottom line, what happened was when the so-called white man came into power, part of their New World Order plans, which began in 1492, went through the so-called discovery of Christopher Columbus. Part of the New World Order plans was to destroy the validity of the Bible, and in going through that destroying of the Bible, they have taken out the Apocrypha out of it. All right, so let's go real quick to a scripture in the book of 2 Corinthians, the 4th chapter and the 4th verse. Because see, all these things are happening, and the reason why they're happening is because the Most High has a plan. And part of the Most High's plan is to blind 2/3 of the nation of Israel. Which 2/3 of the nation of Israel is not going to get this truth. Some of them are going to go into Christianity. Some of them are going to go into Catholicism. Some of them are going to be Baptist, Pentecostal. Some of them are going to go into Islam, the Baha'i faith, Buddhism, and some of them are going to become atheists, like basically two clowns that we have seen on YouTube. I call one of them KFC the ape, and the other one we call Shrek. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to go into these scriptures and show you what's happening, because the Most High has a plan. And sometimes you get upset and pissed off at people, but then on the other hand, you understand that there's a plan that the Most High has, and certain people are not going to wake up, because they're blinded. Alright, so the first scripture we're going to start off with is 2 Corinthians, the 4th chapter. I'm going to start at the first verse. Therefore, seeing we have this ministry, as we have received mercy, we faint not, but have renounced the hidden things of dishonesty, not walking in craftiness, nor handling the word of the Lord of the Most High deceitfully. And that's what's happening. Ever since the so-called white man took over during the Renaissance period, as they call it, they basically handled the word of the Lord deceitfully, and they walked in craftiness. Because what they did was they turned everything upside down. They turned the word of the Lord upside down. They went around saying that they're the Most High, that they're Jesus, that so-called Jesus, that they're God, that they're the disciples, that they're the prophets, that they're the people of the Most High, that they're the Jews, and everything that pertains to the people of the Most High. So what's going to happen to them for that is the Most High is going to destroy them for that, because basically what they have committed is blasphemy. Alright? So in doing all of this, throughout the years, beginning back from the 1400s, they have spent countless amounts of money to hide the truth. And that's one of the main reasons why they took out the Apocrypha out of the Bible. So it says, but have renounced the hidden things of dishonesty, not walking in craftiness, nor handling the word of the Most High deceitfully, but by manifestation of the truth, commending ourselves to every man's conscience in the sight of the Most High. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. And that's 2/3 of Israel right now are lost. See, like I said, we get mad, but we understand that 2/3 of Israel, they're not going to wake up right now. So what do we say? We'll say, look, we'll just see them on the other side. And when they come back into the kingdom, all Israel is going to be saved anyway. I'm talking about Israel, not this bullshit philosophy that these guys are teaching, that anybody that accepts the Lord, they're Israelite. That's another topic. But anyway, all Israel is going to be saved, the physical Israelites. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. But right now, 2/3 of them are lost. So we'll just see them in the kingdom. right? And the reason why they lost is because the Most High blinded their mind. The only reason why anybody we can see and you brothers can see is because the Most High opened up our minds to see this truth. Otherwise, we wouldn't be seeing this truth either. It says, "In whom the God of this world has blinded the minds of them which believe not." And that's what's happened. So part of the reason why some people always come up and say, well, the Bible's been tampered with. Who wrote the Bible? The Bible is a book of fairy tales. The Bible goes back to Horus and the Egyptian deities and ancient Egypt and all those different religions. That's why you have this is similar to that, and that is similar to this, and this person is similar to this person. That's why you got all this madness, because the God of this world had blinded the minds of them which believe not. Because if the Most High didn't give Esau the power, who is the God of this world, to blind people through the demons of the actual demon Satan, if the Most High didn't give the Esau the power to blind people, they would wake up. Israel will wake up, because it says, "Least the light of the glorious gospel of Yahushua, who is the image of the Most High, should shine unto them." And then that's why they would understand. That's why when Yahushua spoke, he spoke in what? In parables. Because when he spoke in parables, to fulfill the prophecy in Isaiah that seeing they shall not see, and hearing they shall not hear, lest they see with their eyes and understand with their heart, and they should be converted, and I should heal them. And that's the reason why they are blinded right now, right? So let's go from there to the book of Daniel, the second chapter. All right, and the 19th verse. And we can see, because the Lord opened our eyes to see. It says, "Then was the secret revealed unto Daniel in a night vision." See, there's a lot of secrets out there that Esau has covered up. A lot of things that Esau has covered up, but the Most High is making it open to us, revealing it to us. Now the word reveal, means back, and veiled is where you get the word veil. To peel back the veil. So if you peel back the veil, basically what you're doing is you are revealing or making known a mystery. So it says, "Then was the secret revealed unto Daniel in a night vision. Then Daniel blessed the power of heaven. Daniel answered and said, Blessed be the name," see, blessed be the name, there goes that word name again, "of the Most High, forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. And he changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise, and knowledge to them that know understanding. He revealeth the deep and secret things." See, the Most High makes clear or takes the veil back of the deep and secret things. Now, for a long period of time, the so-called white man has gone around and he's been changing everything on earth, and beginning with biblical history. Biblical history he's changed. He's changed the history of who the Edomites are. He's changed the history of who the real Israelites are. He's mixed up the people around the planet. He's called them by many different names, so that when they try to search where their origins go back to, they can't find the origins from where they go back to. But the Most High took all those secret things that he hid from them, and he revealed them unto us to teach you brothers, so that you brothers can wake up. And then we're also supposed to go and teach the nations, so that they can know who they are and they can know who their future is, which we were made prophets unto the nations, so the nations can know who they are and know where they're going to. Now, before we read on any more here, it says, "He revealed the deep and secret things." Now, what I want to show you brothers real quick is there's because the main thing that we're dealing with right now is the removal of the Apocrypha. Now there's a book called matter of fact, let me scroll up here. The book is called "To Eliminate the Opiate" by Marvin S. Anselman. This is a so-called rabbi among the so-called Jews, and he found out what they were trying to do. The Illuminati was trying to do was they were trying to destroy the Bible and the biblical teachings of the Bible. That's why you got things like Zeitgeist today. You got people saying that Yahushua is Horus, that really those are made up stories. You got these clowns, Rebel Alliance, saying that Serapis and that all this stuff is all fairy tales and made up. You got that dickhead Shrek kicking the Bible, which the Most High gonna deal with him on that. But this is a book that was written by Rabbi Martin S. Antelman to eliminate the opiate, Volume 1. And in this book, he basically goes back, to the origins, of where all these things basically happen. Now, when you scroll down to page 127, which we're gonna get right now, when you scroll down to page 127, which is right here, there was this guy here, Jonathan Eibishutz. He was the first heretical crypto-Sabbatean theologian. Now, these crypto-Sabbatean theologians, basically what they were, is they were just set up to destroy biblical validity, or the validity of the Bible. Now, what this guy did, this crypto-Sabbatean, he had students that came up under him, and one of the students that came up under him was a guy by the name of Carl Anton. Right? See right here, Carl Anton. Matter of fact, show you that right there, Carl Anton. That's the guy that one of his main pupils. Right? And this guy was given a task. Let's find out what that task was. Eibischutz's disciples had definitive objectives assigned to them so that they would play certain roles in the revolution. Now, the word revolution, the word re means back, and volution is to turn. Revolution is to turn back. So whenever you hear the term revolution, or somebody coming against the government means to turn back to the way things used to be, or to turn back in a favor of a particular person. In this case, that's the definition, to turn back to them ruling, the so-called Jews, the international bankers. Right? So it says Carl Anton's assignment was to discredit the Bible. Alright, now, as we read on down to page, I believe it's 130. Yep, page 130. It says here, this is how he did it. To effectuate his plan, Anton divides a game plan to discredit the Bible in a masterly blueprint that would take about 1 century to develop. The plan went into effect as scheduled, because remember, ever since 1776, when the Illuminati was set up, their whole goal and purpose was to destroy the validity of the Bible, to destroy historical events that would link them to the Edomites, to destroy anything that would give any bad views upon them as a people. So it says the plan went into effect as scheduled. Its essential features were implemented over a period taken nearly twice as long, for Anton could not anticipate future setbacks in the Illuminati timetable. Anton's blueprint was as follows. Number 1. Develop a closed circle of intellectuals whose main objective would be to destroy the Bible. That's why you have, see, because these people out here, they're programmed. All you have to do is through the media, or through the radio, or through constant repetition, which is a term called inculcate, which means to impress upon the mind by constant repetition. All you have to do is say a certain term, and the people will pick up on it. If you say a certain term enough times, the people will pick up on it. Who wrote the Bible? Man wrote the Bible. That's a conspiracy theory. So all these are things that are being said throughout the media, which people just repeat. They just repeat what they hear. So every time you make a point and you cut somebody in the Bible, their first thing is, well, who wrote the Bible? Man wrote the Bible. That Bible is not accurate. This Bible is this. The Bible is that. And that was one of the main things that these guys did. Develop a closed circle of intellectuals whose main objective would be to destroy the Bible. These intellectuals should be mainly academicians who should occupy chairs at leading universities. I mean, people that were already in these universities, but they wanted to get them up into the top higher echelons, or the higher parts of these universities, so they can change certain things. But other intellectuals would supplement their work, so they would find people that would help with their goals, and their goals was to destroy the Bible. This intellectual group should attempt to put itself into positions where it could control the dissemination of information vital to biblical studies. See, meaning to destroy information that was vital to biblical studies. That's why anytime you look up the word Edom, you have nothing that would equate the so-called white man to Edom, to Esau. That's why over here in Daniel's chapter 2 and 22, he says, he revealeth the deep and secret things, he knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with him. Because the so-called white man has hidden all these things, and that's why he has to pay. Now, we're going to go back there, but I just want to read this real quick. This is Isaiah 29 and 16. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. Meaning it's going to be known, it's going to be turned back around, and the Most High is going to take that vessel that he created as a whipping stick against us, and he's going to smash it. Just like a potter has a power to take a vessel of clay and throw it down and break it, that's how the Most High set him up to be destroyed. As so saith Proverbs 16:4. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall a thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding? So basically what the Most High is going to do is he's going to take all these things that Esau has done and turn them back the right way. Alright? So that's why it says this intellectual group should attempt to put itself into positions where it could control the dissemination of information vital to biblical study. That's why you can't go by every book that Esau writes. You can get certain information and certain references, like from the Compact Bible Dictionary, Blue Letter Bible, which is a Strong's Concordance, and certain other books that Esau writes. You can get certain information out of there, but you can't go wholeheartedly by that. That's why you got a lot of these assholes out there that's lost, because they wholeheartedly trust in everything that Esau puts out there. And one prime example of that is this guy, False Prophet 666. Anything that Esau puts down in books, he just goes along with it. All right. So that's why it says that they would control the dissemination of information vital to biblical studies. This means they should gravitate to positions of authority in scholastic publications dealing with these fields, including libraries and archives. That's why when you go to these universities, which the word university, uni is one, versity is to turn into one, which is a one world government or one world order. When you go to these universities, you don't learn anything. You try to go to a university to learn the Bible, they're gonna twist that thing around so much to where when you come out of there, you're gonna be more perplexed than when you first went in there. That's why these so-called DDs, or Doctors of Divinity, that come out of these colleges, they're basically just set up to destroy further destroy the validity of the Bible, so that people, especially our people, the Israelites, would be more subject to lean towards the so-called white man and the government than to lean towards the Most High. Now, with that being said, I gotta come back to Daniel, but I want to go to the book of Isaiah. We were just there, the 33rd chapter, and I believe it's the 20th verse, and it says, "Look upon Zion, the city of our solemnities. Thine eyes shall see Jerusalem." No, this is not it. It's in Isaiah 33:22. Here you go, Isaiah 33:22. "For the Lord is our judge, the Lord is our lawgiver, the Lord is our king. He will save us." So the Most High is the one that's going to save us. Now, when you go to Isaiah, we were there, Isaiah the 10th chapter and the 20th verse. It also says this: "And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel, and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob," meaning they escaped the grip of Esau, the so-called white man, and all these different philosophies that are being taught out here, "shall no more again stay upon him that smote them." Because, see, Israel depends on Esau and the government. They trust in that. That's why when the situation happened in Louisiana with Katrina, what happened? What was the first thing they were asking for? They didn't say, "Where's the Most High at? Where's Yahweh Shai at?" What did they say? "Where's FEMA at?" Why? Because they trust in the so-called white man. They trust in his government more than they trust in the Most High. And that's one of the reasons why this whole biblical, which we're going to get into, the whole situation was set up to destroy the validity of the Bible, and have these preachers, have scandals come out on these preachers, so that when people would think about the scriptures and think about the Most High, the first thing that's going to come to their mind, instead of looking for salvation and being redeemed and being safe, they're looking at all the actions that happened. Or this guy was a pedophile, and this guy, he was a robber, this guy, he stole from the church, and this guy, this preacher, he committed all types of adultery with all kind of men and women in the church, homosexual acts. So they took all the attention away from the scriptures and from the Most High and put it on the people that are supposed to be teaching these religions. That's why we told brothers that this is not a religion. This is a worship. All right. So it said, but shall stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. So that means Israelites were going to stay, or going to trust in the Most High, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. That's why you have to learn this truth, so that you can, when the whole shit hits the fan, so to speak, you can be protected and you can be safe. All right. So now let's go back here to number 4. It says all sections of the Illuminati, Frankists and fellow revolutionaries of future generations, must cooperate fully to promote and enhance the career advancement of the Biblical Destruction Group, the Apocrypha, in the Authorized King James Version. According to the book To Eliminate the Opiate, out of print by Rabbi Antelman, the Illuminati formed a committee entitled the Biblical Destruction Group in 1776. This committee disbanded 50 years later. In 1826, the Apocrypha, 14 books of the Bible, was removed from the Protestant edition of the King James Bible. What were in these books that the Illuminati had to keep from the average person? What truths had to be hidden, and particularly in the United States? So see, these devils know that there was a lot of information in the Apocrypha that was vital to knowing what the end times entailed, and it also spoke about America and its destruction. BDG. Now this Biblical Destruction Group, they were set up in 1776 when the Illuminati was set up, and supposedly they were disbanded 50 years later. But the only thing that was disbanded was the name, because the people were they still were continuing on in their quest. So the Biblical Destruction Group as a name, because it's nothing but a corporation, just like Macy's or J.C. Penney, they'll go out of business, but then they'll come back under a different name. And that's all that they did, because all Esau does is go from one corporation to the next. Just he'll do so much damage with one corporation and move on to another corporation. Just like America's a corporation. They did their damage, then they go under a different name. So this Biblical Destruction Group was started in 1776 during the birth and creation of the Illuminati, and then they were disbanded. This particular group was disbanded 50 years later, but they just went under different names. And in 50 years later, in 1826, that's when they took the Apocrypha out of the Bible. Okay, and should apply pressure where necessary towards that advancement. BDG, or the Biblical Destruction Group, must be self-perpetuating. Every member must produce at least one replacement for himself in his lifetime. In other words, in case anything happened to this guy, somebody had to be, at least one other person had to be trained in what they were doing, in their goals. Number 6, all media at the disposal of revolutionaries must be rallied to disseminate propaganda issued by any member of the BDG, or the Biblical Destruction Group. Number 7, people who are not members of the BDG but who seem to show an interest in pursuing anti-Bible thought should be encouraged without even their knowledge and catapulted into important positions. This will strengthen the BDG at any time in history. So that's what they've been doing for the last since 1776, and really before that. But the so-called Illuminati that's known today, the Bavarian faction of it anyway, was started in Germany in 1776, which was May 1st through Adam Weishaupt, which was given, money and orders by the Rothschild to set that group up. It said, as time goes on, those who accept the views that are fostered by the BDG should be in a position strong enough to destroy any academician or intellectuals who do not conform to their ideas. And that's why they do the things that they do. And anybody that comes against them, you better believe that they put them to death. Alright, now, since we hit that point, right, I want to show you, brothers, something else. When you go, see, because they systematically took the Apocrypha out of the King James Version of the Bible in 1829. 1826, I'm sorry. Now, the Spanish version of the Bible, which is called Casiodura Valera, right? The 1500s and the 1600s is when this version of the Bible came to be. I believe it was 1569, and then there was a revision in 1602. Yeah, this is the Bible translation, Spanish, from Wikipedia, the Free Encyclopedia. And this is the Bible here, Reina Valera translation. The classic Spanish translation of the Bible is that of Casiodura de Reina, revised by Cipriano de Valera. It was for the use of the incipient Protestant movement and widely regarded as a Spanish equivalent of the Authorized Version. The first whole Bible in Spanish was printed in Basel in 1569, authored by Casiodoro de Reina. Although some think that the Bible was a collective effort of some monks of the San Isidoro community in Spain who led by Cazadora de Reina escaped Inquisition and persecution. This was the first version of the complete Bible in Spanish, including Apocrypha, and is known as Biblia del Oso because of the honey-eating bear on its title page. Reina presented the University of Brazil with some volumes, one of them with Reina's dedicatory and signature. And this is one of the pages on the see the bear. And there was a Spanish Bible, and they said that the Spanish Bible was a mirror image of the King James Bible. They basically went hand in hand. So they took out the Apocrypha out of the King James Version, the English version, in 1826, and then in 1862 they took out of La Santa Biblia, they took out the Apocrypha. It says a revision of the complete Bible. The revision was made by Dr. Lorenzo Lucena. This was in 1862, a professor at Oxford University. His changes included additional revisions in orthography, and a modernized diction was added. Let me show you this. The Old Testament Apocrypha, which had been placed between the Testaments, was removed. So that's when that was removed. Let me show you that a little closer. Let me go back a little bit. See, the Old Testament Apocrypha, which had been placed between the Testaments, was removed. And this is by a guy named Lorenzo de Lucena. Alright? So that's just to show you how these devils operate. Alright? Now, let's go from there. I have a actual book here. This book right here is called Culture and Society in Habsburg Spain by R.W. Truman, Nigel Griffin. And we know, like I said, we use certain information. It's just we get like little tidbits from this book and that book. You know, we don't read all these books. We just get the vital information that we need. And in this book, on page 196, it says in 1846, SPCK, which SPCK is the Society for Promoting Christian Knowledge. That's an acronym, SPCK. Society for Promoting Christian Knowledge, which was their Christian knowledge, which is their nonsense, you know. But it says in 1846, SPCK asked Lucena, which is the guy we just talked about, to undertake a new version of the New Testament in Spanish, to replace that of the admittedly liberal Catholic. Torres Amat, Lucena refused, so he didn't want to do that. The New Testament. It says, and the work was entrusted to another Spanish exile, Juan Calderon, who later became professor of Spanish at King's College, London. However, at the time of his appointment to the Taylor Institution, or just after, Lucena did undertake for the SPCK, the Society for Promoting Christian Knowledge. It says Lucena did undertake for the SPCK his most famous, his most famous and long-lasting foray into the revision and editing of Spanish translations of the Bible. This was his textual or modernization from original manuscripts of the complete translation by the Protestant exile Cazadora de Reina. Now that's when you look at those ancient Spanish translation, this is the name you're going to see, Cazadora Valera or Reina de Valera. This is published in Basle in 1569. See, Lucena's version, which incorporated the subsequent revision published in Amsterdam by Cipriano, see this is another name, de Valera, in 1602, was published for SPCK by Oxford University Press 1862, which was the same year, as we said, the same year, 1862, where the Old Testament Apocrypha, which had been placed between the Testaments, was removed by this guy, Dr. Lorenzo Lucena. Alright? So that's the reason why they did that, was because they have a plan. They have an agenda. You know? And now let's go from there. Let's go back to Daniel, the 2nd chapter. And the reason why we know about these things is because the Most High is revealing these things to us now, because this is the time to expose Esau. This is the time to bring out all the dirt that this devil has. Bring it all out on his ass. Alright, so let's go back to Daniel 2:22. He revealeth the deep and secret things. He knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with him. Now verse 28. But there is a power in heaven that revealeth secrets. See? So that's the reason why we know the things that we know. Now let's go from there to the book of Second Thessalonians. Second Thessalonians, the second chapter, and I believe it's around about the 8th verse. Matter of fact, I'm going to start at 5. Remember you not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things. This is Paul speaking to the congregation, which is really Yahushua speaking through Paul to us today. And now you know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. See? So Paul was telling them, and really Yahushua was telling us back then, now you know why I withheld certain things, that he, meaning Esau, the devil, the so-called white man, might be revealed in his time. Because it wasn't time back then for Esau to be revealed. Alright? It says, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work. So the mystery of iniquity, who the devil is, was already in work back then 2,000 years ago, which was the Roman Empire. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. So that's the only reason why Esau is still ruling, because the Most High is allowing him to rule. It says, and then shall that wicked be revealed. And how is he being revealed? He's being revealed twofold. He's being revealed that he's the devil through his seed, or physical seed on the earth, which is the Edomites, and he's also being revealed as being the devil through all the lies that have been taught and all the things that have been hidden. It says, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. Now what's the spirit of the Most High's mouth? The truth, the Bible. But who is that spirit of the Most High's mouth? It's us, the prophets. It says, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. And that's talking about the thermonuclear destruction. So the first steps to destroying Esau and his bullshit is to expose him. That's why the Elder Tahar, beginning with the Elder Tahar, the Elder Gabar, and all the rest of the brothers, when we teach out there, we tell you brothers, that understand this truth, you got to get your behinds out there and teach, man, because the more this word goes out, the closer we go to this man coming down. So it says that he has to be revealed through the spirit of the Most High's mouth, meaning he has to be revealed. Judgment has to be pronounced on him, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. So if he's not revealed, he can't be destroyed. So he got to be revealed first, so the Most High can destroy him. It says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with power and signs and lying wonders.
Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai. What you're looking at is the names of the Bible, you know, the different books in the Bible. And as you can see here, you have, this is the Old Testament. Then down here you have the New Testament, and in the center you have the Apocrypha. Okay, now the word Apocrypha, APO, Apo, means to send, and Krypha, where you get the word crypt, is hidden, to send hidden. And that's what happened. They sent these books hidden. They took them out of the Bible on purpose. And the main group, one of the main groups that did this was the Biblical Destruction Group, which, you know, a few people spoke on. And one of the main guys that speaks on that particular group is a man by the name of Rabbi Marvin Antelman, which wrote a book, something about the oviate. I can't remember the exact name of the book, but I can pull it up. You know, and there's been other people that have spoken of the mischief, pretty much, that these people have done, you know, these Edomites, through the international bankers and these different groups that they set up. Which one of the groups that they set up were called the Frankists. You know, they were called after this man. His last name was Frank. You know, so they called him the Frankists. You know, because they stem from another group of devils, the Sabbatai, you know, which was a man by the name of Zevi Sabbatai, which proclaimed himself to be the Messiah back in 1666. And for the longest, these devils, they've been trying to discredit and destroy the Bible, because remember, prior to them coming into power during the time of the Renaissance, Jake was ruling. And Jake holds dear to the Bible because the Bible is true, because, you know, Jake wrote the Bible. Israelites wrote the Bible, you know, so that's why they reverenced it. And then when these devils got into power, the main thing they had to do was try to destroy it. So they accomplished, in 50 years, they accomplished to take the Apocrypha out of the Bible, through the Biblical Destruction Group in 1826. That's when they finally got rid of the Apocrypha. But, it was still in certain books, so they took a process of time for them to fully get them out of all the Bibles. But they got the decree, so to speak, to get rid of them. So I have here something called Neutralizing the Opposition. Lord's will, I'll put the link in the description box so you brothers could check it out for yourselves. It says the conspiracy since the day of its founding has been to the avowed and vicious enemy of all true religions, the persecution of a true Christian in communist countries, and the setting up of phony churches presided over by secret police agents disguised as church officials, are known to all reasonably informed persons. And they have a scripture here, 1 Corinthians 14:8, for if the trumpet give an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself for the battle? And it is true, because there are a lot of things in the Apocrypha that show you things that are happening in this time right now that are very important to prophecy, and that's one of the main reasons they took it out. Another reason was they took it out was because it tells you that the 10 tribes came to a land where never mankind dwelt, and that doesn't tell you that in the regular Bible. It does tell you that they were brought out of their land, and they were going to lose their land, but it didn't give you like a description of where they actually went. But when you piece the puzzle together, line upon line, precept upon precept, here they're little and there little, you are able to piece the whole puzzle together if the Spirit of the Lord is with you. So now I want to jump down here where it says the first major move towards subverting Judaism, because the first thing that the devil did when they took over, that's why they called it the Renaissance, which the word Renaissance means to rebirth, was they had to destroy all the dark images that they had, and then they had to destroy all of the doctrine and the dogma and things of that nature that were being taught back then, because it was a thing that was being taught for the nation of Israel, the real Israelites. So they had to switch everything around to incorporate themselves in it. And in doing that, they had to destroy certain books that they deemed to be a threat, to bring the truth out and to expose them. Because another thing that they took, the reason why they took the Apocrypha out, is because it says that Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And through the Spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, we have found out who Esau is, which is a so-called white man. So there's a lot of secrets and mysteries in that book that they don't want to get out. It says, the first major move towards subverting Judaism was made by Frankist Carl Anton, who in 1776 organized the Biblical Destruction Group, a closed circuit of intellectuals whose main objective would be to destroy the Bible. This self-perpetuating group, with the aid of its conspiratorial connections, infiltrated its way into positions of prestige in some of the leading universities of Central Europe, and began what came to be known as the higher criticism. That's where you have a movement. That's where you have what's that? There's another term that they have for a higher criticism movement. It's free thinkers. And the free thinkers, basically, they've been brainwashed into believing that they control their own destiny, and that they have to think outside of the box, which, yeah, you do have to have your own mind. You have to think outside of the box in certain cases. But for the most part, the Bible is what guides us. That's the power right there, and that's why they fought so hard to try to destroy it. But the problem is, Yahweh Shai said that if it were possible, they would destroy they would deceive the very elect. But it's not possible, because the very elect are sealed with the truth, and the truth is contained in the Bible. So they're fighting a losing battle, but they're only going to get the ones the Lord doesn't want. So this higher criticism movement, or this free thinker movement, was all set up basically to cast doubt on the Bible, on the validity of the Bible. It says, stripped of its intellectual pretensions, the higher criticism movement has been nothing but a long-term chipping away little by little at the integrity of the Bible as the inspired word of the Most High, leading literally millions of both Jews and Christians to adopt or inherit a skeptical attitude toward the Bible. Its results have been devastating to Western civilization, and people have been moving away from the scriptures. But that's all right, because the elect are not. The elect are going to be drawn to the scriptures, because the elect are the ones that the Lord said they were going to be drawn by the word. Because right now, the ones that are being sealed, they're being sealed by the word. The book of James, the first chapter, says to receive with meekness the engrafted word, which is able to save your soul. You know? So now, I want to go, because, this Bible landed in the hands of the devil, the so-called white man, when he took power. He's the one that's been printing and publishing them, and he has the power and the money and the authority to be able to print the Bibles and all that. So ever since he took power or got into power, his main goal has been to destroy the Bible and the Apocrypha, and the integrity of the scriptures, to make it just seem like just another book, And that's what the Lord says this time, Psalms 50:16. But unto the wicked the Most High saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? Why? Because here they'll say one thing. They'll say that this country is a God-fearing country and God we trust. 1983 was considered the year of the Bible, and the Bible is considered to be the book of the land, or the law of the land. But yet when you look at their legislation says the total opposite of what the Bible says. Seeing thou hatest instructions and castest my words behind thee. So they take the Bible, they make you swear in on it, they make the president swear in on it, but then they take it and cast it to the side. Because if you try to use the Bible in your defense, when you go to court or whatever, they're not going to listen to you, because it's not in their legislation. It has to be a part of their legislation in their jurisdiction for them to deal with it, and they're not dealing with it in that manner. All right. So now here, this is the Apocrypha. Like I said, Lord's will, I'll link these up in the description box. The Apocrypha is a selection of books which were published in the original 1611 King James Bible. These apocryphal books were positioned between the Old and New Testament. It also contained maps and genealogies. The Apocrypha was a part of the KJV for 274 years until being removed in 1885 AD. So now the Biblical Destruction Group in 1826, they were able to get the Apocrypha removed out of the Bible, but it took a process of time to get it out of all of the different Bibles. So they had to reprint everything and every version of the Bible and every so-called religion back then. So it took a process of time from the time that they actually were able to get rid of it until this particular time here, 1885. So by that point, there were no more Bibles with the Apocrypha in it. Although later on in the history, the Lord put the Spirit on some of these devils to put it back in there. It says a portion of these books were called deuterocanonical books by some entities, such as the Catholic Church. Many claim the Apocrypha should never have been included in the first place, raising doubt about its validity and believing it was not the Most High inspired. For instance, a reference about magic seems inconsistent with the rest of the Bible, Tobit chapter 6 verses 5 to 8, which is total bullshit. When you go and read it, you can read it on your own. It has nothing to do with witchcraft. Others believe it is valid and that it should never have been removed, that it was considered part of the Bible for nearly 2,000 years before it was recently removed a little more than 100 years ago. So this book has been in the Bible since it was first written. So now 2,000 years later, plus or whatever, give or take, they take it out because they say that it's not valid. Some say it was removed because of not finding the books in the original Hebrew manuscripts. Others claim it wasn't removed by the church but by printers to cut costs in distributing Bibles in the United States. So they have their different theories or arguments of why they removed it, but we know why they removed it. Both sides tend to cite the same verses that warn against adding or subtracting from the Bible. Revelation 22:18. The word of Apocrypha means hidden, which really means to send hidden. Fragments of the Dead Sea Scrolls dating back to 70 AD contain parts of the Apocrypha books in Hebrew, including Sirach and Tobit. So you did have certain remnants of it that were in the Dead Sea Scrolls. It says, keep this in mind when reading the following apocryphal books. Martin Luther said Apocrypha, that is, books which are not regarded as equal to the Holy Scriptures and yet are profitable and good to read. King James Version defended page 98. So pretty much, these devils, they're casting doubt because some people will say yay, some people will say nay, but at the end of the day, if you're part of the elect, you're going to go with what the scriptures say. Now, this is what the Lord said, Isaiah 44:25. The frustrated, I'm starting at 24. Isaiah 44:24. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh thy Redeemer, and he that formed thee from the womb. I am Yahweh that maketh all things, that stretcheth forth the heavens alone, that spreadeth abroad the earth by myself, that frustrateth the tokens of the liars. And lessons like this and the others that brothers have done, that prove that the Apocrypha is part of the Bible is the Lord's way of frustrating the tokens of the liars. Now, when you look up the word frustrateth, it comes from the Hebrew word parar. It's not coming up right now, but pretty much means to break, to frustrate, to cut, like basically to cut up tokens. Now it's not coming up. The devil, all of a sudden now it ain't coming up. It was just coming up a few minutes ago. But pretty much it says that frustrated the tokens of the liars and maketh diviners mad, that turneth wise men backward and maketh their knowledge foolish. And that's what's happening right now. The Lord is making the knowledge of these devils foolish. Now, we read over here that some of these books, some of the fragments include Sirach and Tobit in the actual Hebrew, right? And then what it's called deuterocanonical books, all right? Deuterocanonical books, literally meaning a second principle, rule, or criterion, is a term used, Salakia, is a term used since the 16th century in the Catholic Church. That's something they called it. And Eastern Christianity to describe certain books and passages of the Christian Old Testament that are not part of the current Hebrew Bible. So now why didn't King James and Cassiodoro de Valera name it Deuterocanonical books? Because it wasn't called that until later on. Till the devil started getting into power in the Roman Catholic Church and other places, and other religions, and they called it Deuterocanonical books. It says the term is used in contrast to the proto-canonical books, which are contained in the Hebrew Bible. This distinction had previously contributed to the debate in the early church about whether they should be classified as canonical texts. All right, now we're going to jump down to the Dead Sea Scrolls. Fragments of 3 deuterocanonical books have been found among the Dead Sea Scrolls found at Qumran, in addition to several partial copies of Enoch and Jubilees from the Ethiopic Deuterocanon. Now, those people that get into the book of Enoch and Jubilee and all that, they jumping up and down. But it says that these 2 particular books are found in the Ethiopian Deuterocanon. Now, when you jump down to the Ethiopian Deuterocanon, I just want to do that real quick. It says in the Amharic Bible used by the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, those books of the Old Testament that are still counted as canonical, but not by all other churches, just by them, are often set in a separate section titled Deuterocanonical, whatever, And then when you jump down here, it says, along with the books of Ezra and Prayer of Manasseh, it says, also includes some books that are still held canonical by only the Ethiopian church, including Enoch, right, and Jubilee, and 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Maccabean, which is not Maccabees, but a lot of people confuse it with being Maccabees, but it's another book. So the Ethiopian Orthodox Church considers these books, Enoch, Jubilee, and Maccabean, or 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Maccabean, to be canonical. Okay, I just want to go to that just to show you that. All right, so it says Sirach, whose Hebrew text was already known from the Cairo Geniza, has been found in 2 scrolls. These are Dead Sea Scrolls, in 2Q Sir, or 2Q18, and 11QPS _A, or 11Q5 in Hebrew. So you had books of the Bible and the Sirach that were found in the Hebrew text. So that other bullshit about that they couldn't find them in the Hebrew is dead. All right, another Hebrew scroll, and besides that, when Antiochus Epiphanes came into power, he burned a lot. He burned the books of the laws that were there. So he burned a lot of the actual text that they had, going back to that time and even before then. It says another Hebrew scroll, and also this devil Nebuchadnezzar also burned the temple and the books and records back then. Another Hebrew scroll of Sirach has been found in Masada. The book of Tobit has been found in Qumran in 4 scrolls written in Aramaic and in 1 written in Hebrew. The letter of Jeremiah or Baruch chapter 6 has been found in Cave 7, Papyrus 7Q5 in Greek. Now this goes back 2,000 years ago. It has been theorized by recent scholars that the Qumran library of approximately 1,100 manuscripts found in the 11 caves of Qumran was not entirely produced at Qumran, but may have included part of the library of the Jerusalem temple that may have been hidden in the caves for safekeeping at the time the temple was destroyed by the Romans in 70 AD. All right. So now another scripture I want to hit you with is the book of John 10 and 22 in the New Testament, where it says, and it was at Jerusalem the feast of dedication, and it was winter. Now, I don't know if it's going to let me go to it, but the feast of dedication is Ekainia, which is not letting me go. But when you go to it, it tells you that it was the actual feast that was set up by Judas Maccabees, after the cleansing of the temple, after the destruction of the temple at Jerusalem during the time of Antiochus Epiphanes. And there's many other scriptures in the Bible that prove that the Apocrypha is part of the Bible. That's just one out of many, And pretty much these devils, they got to go down, because everything that they do is nothing but lies. Sirach 25 and 2. 3 sorts of men my soul hateth, and I am greatly offended at their life. A poor man that is proud, a rich man that is a liar. And who's that rich man that is a liar? That's these international bankers. And they've been hard at work, man, for about 500 plus years. And they've been lying, murdering, conniving, twisting, burning, removing, everything on the planet, including the scriptures. They've been trying for the longest. Okay, so the Lord said through the mouth of Sirach, it says 3 sorts of men my soul hateth. It says, and I am greatly offended at their life. A poor man that is proud, a rich man that is a liar, and an old adulterer that doteth. But the one we're dealing with is a rich man that is a liar. And that's these international bankers. They're the ones that are liars, And then, when you go into the Spanish Bible, the Casiodoro de Valera, there's a man by the name of Dr. Lorenzo Lucena Pedrosa, and he was the one that removed the Apocrypha out of the Spanish Bible in 1862. Okay, it says, however, his greatest contribution to translations of Protestant Bibles in Castilian was his view of the Bear Bible, La Biblia del Oso, and Bible Crock, or La Biblia de Cantares, translated by Casiodoro de Reina and Cipriano de Valera, published in 1862. This is when Lorenzo Lucena did it. As old version of Cipriano de Valera, checked against various translations and revised in accordance with the original Hebrew and Greek, with giving birth to the version of the Bible that was later known as King James 1862. This version's main difference from those published by Reina and Valera, the omission of the Apocrypha or Deuterocanonical books. So is considered by some as the first Protestant version as such in Spanish. So he was the one that was paid by these international bankers to remove the Apocrypha out of the Spanish Bible in 1862. And then we read over here, the Biblical Destruction Group got rid of it in 1826, but it took a process of time. And see, by 1885, they were all done. They were all pretty much pulled out of those of the Bible, pretty much. And this devil did it in 1862. So all in the 1800s, they accomplished a diligent search, as the scriptures say, to destroy remove the Apocrypha out of the Bible. And that's why the Lord said this here. Let me see if this will come up. Proverbs 12 and 22, it says, lying lips are an abomination to the Lord, but they that deal truly are his delight. And these devils do not deal truly. That's why the Lord said he frustrated the counsel, he frustrated the tokens of the liars. and that's what's happening right now. So this has been pretty much the removal of the Apocrypha. I've done lessons on it before, and other brothers have done lessons on it before, but I just wanted to just touch on it again because we're coming to a critical time now where the Apocrypha is going to be one of the, of course, the Bible, coupled with the Bible, of course, is going to be one of the main things that's going to be pushing out a lot of these prophecies that are happening right now, such as 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, and 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter, which is coming to fruition, and that's going to be part of the knowledge and wisdom that's going to keep us stable in these times. So with that, I hope you brothers learned something. Till the next time, I say shalom.